Hey there, let's talk about something that's both fascinating and a bit terrifying. North Korea's journey to becoming a nuclear powerhouse. It's pretty wild when you think about it. We're talking about one of the poorest countries in the world where the average person earns less than $3 a day. But somehow, it's also one of the few countries that have nuclear weapons. How on earth did that happen? Well, let's dive into this crazy story. A journey back in time. So, this whole nuclear saga starts way back with North Korea's founding father, Kim Il-sung. Picture this. It's the early days of North Korea, and Kim Il-sung decides he wants to get into the nuclear game. He hits up the Soviet Union and says, "Hey, can you help us build a nuclear program? It's for peaceful purposes, like, providing energy." But let's be real, the peaceful part of that story didn't last long. Fast forward to 1979, and North Korea is constructing its first big nuclear reactor at the Yongbyon facility. This place becomes the heart of their nuclear ambitions. Kim Il-sung's dream is starting to take shape, but it's his son, Kim Jong Un, who really kicks things into high gear. In the 90s, North Korea's economy is in shambles, thanks in part to the collapse of the Soviet Union. The country is literally starving, but instead of focusing on food, Kim Jong-il decides to pour resources into the nuclear program. By 1998, they're testing ballistic missiles. Talk about priorities, right? Building the arsenal. When Kim Jong-un, the third Kim in this dynasty, takes over, he's got big plans. He's not messing around. He sees nuclear weapons as his ticket to security and legitimacy. Under his watch, North Korea carries out its first successful nuclear test in 2006, and they've been expanding their arsenal ever since. Today, experts estimate North Korea might have around 50 nuclear warheads. That's enough to cause some serious trouble. But how did they manage to build such a formidable nuclear arsenal while under heavy sanctions and with such a weak economy? Well, they got creative. Tech-savvy scientists and engineers. One of the key ways they've managed to do this is by advancing their technology at home. North Korea has trained an army of scientists and engineers to develop their nuclear and missile programs. Remember that big celebration on the 4th of July, 2017? That's when they tested their first intercontinental ballistic missile. Since then, they've been making steady progress. They're now using solid fuel for their missiles, which means they can launch these bad boys much quicker than before. Solid fuel is built into the missile during manufacturing, so there's no need for lengthy fueling processes that could give their enemies a heads up. And they're not stopping there. North Korea is also working on miniaturizing nuclear warheads. This means they can attach these warheads to a variety of different missiles, making their arsenal even more versatile and dangerous. The Russian connection. But North Korea hasn't been doing this all on its own. They've had some help from friends, or rather, strategic partners. Enter Russia. In recent years, the relationship between North Korea and Russia has really taken off. Vladimir Putin's visit to North Korea was a big deal. It signaled a deepening of ties between the two countries, with Russia providing North Korea access to crucial technologies and raw materials. This partnership is like hitting the jackpot for Kim Jong Un. It's a win-win situation. North Korea gets the tech and materials they need, and Russia gets military equipment and support for its own endeavors, like the war in Ukraine. Military-first policy. Another big factor in North Korea's nuclear success is their Songun policy, which translates to military first. This policy justifies massive spending on defense, even if it means neglecting other parts of the economy. Despite having a military budget that's just a fraction of what larger countries spend, North Korea pours a significant chunk of its limited resources into its military. Estimates suggest they spend between $7 to $11 billion a year on defense, which is a huge amount considering their total economy is only around $25 billion. Funding through cybercrime. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. How does North Korea afford all this? Well, a big part of the answer lies in cybercrime. U.S. officials estimate that about 40% of the funding for North Korea's nuclear program comes from cyber theft. Yep, we're talking about hacking and stealing money online. North Korea has become pretty adept at this. dodging sanctions and pulling in cash from all sorts of shady activities like drug dealing, weapons sales, and counterfeiting currencies. They've also sent workers abroad, especially to places like Russia and China, to earn hard currency that helps fund their nuclear ambitions. The ultimate goal. So what's Kim Jong Un's endgame with all these nukes? It's not just about flexing military muscle. Kim Jong Un wants to ensure his regime's survival and secure his legacy. Having a powerful nuclear arsenal is a way to deter enemies and project strength. While he's not looking to start a war, he's definitely preparing to defend North Korea if it ever comes to that. By investing in these weapons, he's also cementing his position as a strong leader within the country. Conclusion. In the end, North Korea's nuclear story is one of perseverance, strategy, and a bit of audacity. They've managed to build a formidable arsenal under the harshest of conditions, using a mix of homegrown technology, strategic partnerships, and some less-than-legal funding methods. It's a testament to their determination, but also a sobering reminder of the lengths to which some regimes will go to maintain power and security. And while the world watches with a mix of awe and concern, one thing is clear: North Korea's nuclear journey is far from over.